This is Pastor Dick Hood. I'm at Belle Isle, and I'm kind of revisiting the places of my youth. But I want to share with you what I'm preaching about this Sunday. I'm preaching about the love and the marriage between Abigail and David. For the last few weeks, I've been preaching about the anointing of Samuel, and first the anointing of Samuel with Saul, and then Samuel anointing David. And but then at this point, Samuel has died. David and his men, he's got 400 men. They're out on Mount Carmel, and they see 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and they're owned by a man named Nabal. And David and his men protect the sheep. They don't harm them. They don't harm the men. But then at some point, David sends 10 of his men. This is from 1 Samuel chapter 25. He sends 25 men down to meet Nabal. And he says, look, we've been protecting your sheep on Mount Carmel. Can you spare some of the sheep for us? We're hungry. And Nabal gets mad at him. And he says, who am I, to, support every renegade from King Saul? He said, I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to do it. And so David's men go back to where David and the army are, and they tell David. And David says, we'll kill him. And he says, everybody put on your swords, so forth, and we're going to ride down the hill and we'll kill him. And so they're on their way, but one of these shepherds goes to the wife of Nabal, and she says, and her name is Abigail, and they tell him what her husband said to David's men. And she says, look, tell David not to be angry with me and us, and I will feed him. And so she gathers, a lot of donkeys laden with bread, raisins, figs, and they head out to meet David. And David and his men are storming down the hill on their horses. And as they get close, Abigail falls down on the ground, and she just says, have mercy on us. And the sight of that beautiful woman down on her knees just messes David up. And he gets down off of his horse, he talks to her, and he says, because of you, I'm not going to kill anybody here. And a little later, when her husband Nabal finds out that his wife has bestowed some kindness upon David, he gets so angry he has a stroke. And he lingers for 10 days, but after the 10th day, he dies. And when he dies, David comes back and he proposes to Abigail. And she readily says, yes, I will be your wife. And it's a beautiful story because Abigail effectively becomes a ride or die wife for David. She's a road dog. And I don't say that in a bad way. What I mean by road dog is this is the period of David's life between being the Lord's anointed king and the Lord's appointed king. He's not yet king, and Saul doesn't like him. And David hangs on until Saul dies and his son Jonathan died. And so David is respectful of Saul. Abigail is respectful of her husband Nabal, and David is respectful of Abigail's husband Nabal. And what's the lesson in this? The truth of the matter is, my friends, that we ask people to get married. We commit together in marriage. We commit together saying, I take you for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do us part. And we try to honor that. But the reality of the Abigail and David story is that sometimes people have feelings for somebody else. But out of respect for their marriage, they don't act on it. And there's a lesson in that. She's with David until he dies. She's at his bedside when he dies at age 70. She has to live through his adultery with Bathsheba. She has to live through the ups and the downs of David's life. But through it all, Abigail is there. And so that's what I'm preaching about Sunday. I hope you will tell your friends, pick up your phone, call a friend, tell them this is what Nick Hood is preaching on this week. And you don't want to miss it, especially if you have a friend who has feelings for somebody else. Call them. Tell them the Reverend is going to talk about that this week. So God bless, God keep you. Remember, I am praying for you.